Welcome back to my studio. My Florals journal just seemed to need my attention today. So, now that the front and back covers are ready to go, the inside front cover and first page are off to the races today. These spring flowers will be the floral of the day, and I've gotten out some blues, white, but before I do that, I'm thinking I'm going to, for some reason, I want to put the sky, because it is a very, very pretty day outside, bright skies with some nice white clouds, and I said, okay, let's do that here. So I've gotten out my go-to absolute much loved sky colors. Folk Art Baby Blue. Just enough blue, just enough gray. Oh, I love it, I love it. So I haven't used this in ages. So today is going to be a blue sky day. And with that, I don't use pure white for my clouds. I use Ceramcoat's Buttercream. I found that that pleases me the most. Now, since I want to, for some reason, I'm just going to cover these pages with sky. And so in order to get that moving and down quickly, out comes my handy dandy card. Because it covers large areas, nice and flat. Some more. I'm not looking for this to be perfect, but blue sky it is. I don't know why or how I discovered this color and realized that this was Carol's idea of sky heaven. So, different depths, because in different areas there is more or less gesso, and that's fine also. Maybe a little bit right there. Why not? I have a bottle of this baby blue in my stash, and I think I'm actually going to look for another one the next time I'm at A.C. Moore or Michael's, any place that carries the brand. Okay, mission accomplished for the blue sky. And now the clouds. A little dry. So, a little bit more. Just a bit more clouds. All right. Now the stencil I have decided to use is my go-to stencil that I just do love and probably overused, but just works for me. Now I'm going to do shades of white with various amounts of blue included. So I'm going to need some dollops of white, to which I can add some of these blues. I've chosen Midnight, Blue Jay, and Ultramarine, and regular, pure white. In this case, I think I'm going to work it from the lighter shade down to the darker. So, let's try just a little bit of this Midnight because it's quite an interesting color. Maybe more white. Yes. Okay, that was quite a dark color. Now, just the tiniest drop of ultramarine, and that is tiny. And let's see what happens. And now this blue jay ought to make this color very light indeed. And yet each quite different. I think more white for the lightest. Yes. Right, I'm going to start up here. With the light one. Just what the doctor ordered. And here again. We'll just have to not be too super anal about that one. I have been using this particular stencil, and I don't remember where, when, or how, but I've had it for maybe 3 or 4 years, and it's always been a go-to stencil, and it always seems to make the outcome a happy one. Okay, let's go now to the middle range. Let's see what's happening. Not enough to suit me. I believe I'm going to want just a little more blue here. More than I realized that I would want. Whoa! No, Carol. All right, more white. Let's try to go back here now. That's better. So we now have a suggestion of leaves there. And now here. And the last one. Just a touch of green in it, because we need to have some stems on those, we need to have some leaves on those flowers, so let's see what happens. Well, that's quite a busy Lizzie background. Let's see what we really have here now. Yes. I wish that you were able to see this without the interim camera, but it just, believe it or not, is what I had in mind. I was hoping for something like this. Now let's see what's going to happen. Let's see where we're going here now. All right. Now these blues, as you can see, are strong enough to stand anything we can throw at it. Oops, down a little bit. And here. I'm thinking I'm on the right track. Whatever shade of blue one puts down, they all seem to work together. It's really quite incredible. But I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm going to stop and do just a little tiny bit of fussy cutting with my X-Acto knife. And I'm going to be thinking about where we're going with this, because this background and these, and after that I'm going to have to commune with my muse. I think I'm going to need those little funny strappy, some of those little funny strappy leaves that they have. Well, these need to be trimmed. I'll be back. So, these have been fussy cut, and I glued them down with my Yoo-Hoo stick. And now, oh, and I wanted to keep this to show you the cleanup paper, and it is really incredible the way you cannot make, for some reason, it is almost impossible to make ugly cleanup paper. Isn't that just delightful? I'm going to have to come back to playing with some of the pages in here because they are really, really wonderful. Well, let me get out of that rabbit hole, and I think it's time to start to think about. Need some little green strappy leaves down here. This one I don't think will have any. Let's see what we can do here. And this one, I'm thinking, no, no, Carol. No, Carol. There's that one. Let's see where we are now. Didn't want to do too much of this, getting in the way of that flower. But I know that I'm never going to be satisfied unless this one has something coming up, maybe this way. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking this one has to come over a little further. And this one has to be taller. Two strappy leaves for that one, and one over there. Yes. Now, there's nothing that does a better strappy leaf than Inktense pencils. So, I'm going to get them out now and color them in, color these in, and then I think I'm going to have to stop and have another think. I'll be right back. Alright, these are the Derwent Inktense pencils that I have chosen in 5 shades of green and 1 in brown. And as you can see, they work well together. Now, we'll make the left side the lighter side. So, let's put a little light on here. some more. Just a little bit of light here. Just a bit of the dark bark color on this side. And through the center, just to make it rock and roll a little bit. We'll see about a little bit of light up there. And let's see what we have. If we're warm or not so warm. Well, I'm going to put a base coat on these because when this dries, I'm going to go again, obviously. So, I'm just going to apply my colors again, knowing full well that I'm going to have to come back and visit these strappy leaves. And the dark on the bottom. And the brown on the bottom. And the yellowy green on top. That's not a problem. I will talk to that when I get back to it with the with the brown, the bark. But let's see. Alrighty. I'm going to do these three, and then I'm going to let them all vegetate for a while I think about the rest of it. Lay these out the way I was working on them. So that seems to be the magic formula for pencils. And I can see that the dark needs to be much darker. In fact, I can put even almost a little bit of a black brown on that side. Alrighty, I'll be back. Well, I was pleasantly surprised when I came back and found these leaves dried, and I've decided to leave them alone because they are very natural looking. And I'm afraid that if I added more to them, it would make them too stark. So that was an artistic decision that I made without the help of my muse. And then I got out my Le Pens and worked at the bottom row of the background stencil with some green, and then I went up to aqua, and then the dark blue and gray at the top. Then I went around the outside of the page with my stone gray StazOn, but now I need to add some dimension, and as you can see, each one of these has a dark side. So I've got my Inktense neutral gray, which is useful for all situations like this. I'm going to go around this side just to see if I can't add a little bit of dark to the dark side here. And some in here. And probably I'll see about here. A little bit in this opening, a little bit in here, and gesso, water, just a tiny bit of gesso. It's probably twice as much as I will need. To wet this. It's a chisel blender, number 4. Very short bristles, rather strong, which means I can scrub away in here. There we go. Just to add that bit of dimension. And I can spread it out a little bit. Add a little bit of water. Just rub a little shadow. Remove some of the flatness. And these brushes are wonderful for rubbing. And just a little bit of shadow effect. Let's go down here. And there probably would be some, not very little, but some in here. A little bit in here. Using very, very little. And more in here and here, and definitely on this dark side. Notice these become quite dark blue, quite rich up there. So when that line becomes a line of gray, scrub it out and work it out a little bit. And back down in here. Scrub that shadow effect up the dark side a little bit. And here. this is all, should be all in shadow down here, so I'm going to be a little bit more vigorous with this pencil. And down there. If we want to lighten up this line out here, just add just the tiniest bit of water and scrub it out a little bit. Bit in here. A bit in here. So, to move this out of the way, goodness. Now let's see if we have an improvement here. Yes. Alrighty. For some reason, I don't know why, something I don't often do is I'm being called, I guess because of the space here, I'm being called to a thought or some words. I think I shall go and commune with my tablet and find out if I can't find something that tickles me that might work with this very laid back ode to spring flowers. I will return. Well, I think that I do have quite a lot of practice with my writing, but it was fun doing, and it certainly said what I wanted these pages to say. If you have enjoyed sharing this trip with me, please leave a thumbs up, share with a friend. A comment would be certainly appreciated, and I would also be very appreciative if you would subscribe to my channel. Let's have a look at the, you can still see some of the underpainting of sky. And then the go-to leaf stencil, a very, very large early spring flowers, and the added on leaves using Derwent ink tints. Bye now.